you work with SNCU for your auto loan, you'll enjoy an easy application process, fast local decisioning, and 90 days with no...
Oh, hey, Adam. How you doing, man? I'm doing all right. You just burnt from the week? Yeah. I'm starting my 9-day vacation today. So I'm kind of looking forward to this. Eli, hello, how's it going? You like my art? You have a question? Yeah, 9 days. I'm very excited to have a long stretch off. No, not really. Just I've got 3 weeks of vacation that I need to burn up before the middle of December. So I'm going to be taking another 9 days off in October and then again November. And then in the middle of December, my vacation resets and I'll be 20 years at my job. So that means that I get another week of vacation. So that means it'll reset and reload for the year. And I'll have 5 weeks of vacation to take. So that'll be nice. Eli, you are 8 years old. Well, hello. Did you have a question, Eli? Adam, you want 5 weeks of vacation? Yeah, it's taken a long time for me to get there. It's probably just about the time my job will find a reason to fire me, just so they can not have to honor it. But we'll see, right? Mac G, do I use blender? Like a blender? Like in the kitchen? I use it when I make like ice smoothies and stuff. Eli, which character do I like best? Meaning, like, which character do you like best? I would guess Spider-Man or Batman. Jerica Dupree, it's just a lot of practice. Just practice. Sit down and draw, and then draw some more, and then draw some more, and then you just keep going and keep practicing, and eventually you'll start finding your footing. There's no real shortcut. Mac G, I don't use computer anything for my art. When I get done with an image, I will scan it, and then I'll use my very limited Photoshop skills to clean it up, but that's it. Eli, haha, you're a girl. Well, I mean, that doesn't change anything. You still could like the characters I suggested. You never know. Well, Jerica, I mean, you could get some art lessons, take art classes or whatever, but honestly, just as far as art, just sit down and do it. There's no better teacher than just doing it. Yeah, just like my boy Adam Brooks is saying, just draw everything. Just draw, 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 practice, practice, practice. And you'll get there. If you're passionate about it. If you're not passionate about it, then you won't get anywhere. So you have to love it. You have to need to do it. Not just want to do it, but need to do it. Max says, try Gemini to change your work after you're done. I don't even know what that means. Addie, you're back from the game and you won going into the playoffs. Eli, you're eating candy at 11:24. I wish I had some candy. But I don't. And it's not like I need it. I really don't. Deontay. Jerica Dupree, your name is Deontay? I am going to the local comic convention tomorrow. Normally I have my art table there and I'm trying to sell my comics and art and stuff, but I just I decided to skip it this year. So I'm just going to go as a fan and just walk around. Just enjoy everything for once rather than trying to basically be at work trying to sell my stuff. Yeah, see, Mac G, you say you can make your artwork look 3D or make it into a digital comic. I don't want to do any of that. I got no interest in any of that. I don't want to make it look 3D. I don't want it to look like a digital comic. I want to make a comic book by hand, like the old school guys, pencil and pen on paper with words printed up in a little pamphlet, a little comic book magazine. That is what interests me. I don't care about any of this digital stuff. Not in the slightest. It's all old school over here. Adam, you love that I have no interest in digital? Yeah, just none. I know I say it every time. I say a lot of things a lot of the time, but I don't have a problem with it. But I grew up watching my favorite artist just draw on paper, and that's all I wanted to do. And I have not changed that mindset now that I'm older and digital is all the rave. Like, nope. It's like those of us that stay doing traditional, we're like a dying breed, and I'm fine with that. Like, I'm not fine with being a dying breed, but I'm fine with just staying right with this. I've got some original work on paper. It's not just a digital file that could accidentally get deleted. It's going to be so hard to push it if you don't. Well, what do you mean hard to push it? I mean, I think you've got a different opinion on what I'm interested in, Mr. Mac G. You can go off and make that stuff. I see tons of artists do their own kind of crowdfunders and have successful books, and it's all done by hand, and it works just fine. Yeah, you can't do a mural with a computer. Correction, computer. Yep. And so much of modern digital artwork, I mean, I get what modern youth is interested in, but it's all like, hey, look, here's my version of anime. Look at my anime. Look at my anime ripoff stuff. Like, all right, that's great. Not interested. I shall keep the faith and keep alive the spark of the stuff that has interested me when I was a kid. You prefer the suffering on the eraser? Yeah. Yeah, Adam. Yeah, the more ubiquitous iPads become, the more I only want to see real paper, pen, and ink work. I mean, I'm the same. Just, I just become more enamored with the idea of traditional hand-drawn stuff because, again, digital gives you a lot of freedom, but you can infinitely fix it, change it, and go back and fix it, change it, change it, change it. When you're drawing on paper with ink, what you put down is what you got. There's very, very little instances where you can back it out and white it out and clean it up. Most of the time, you're stuck with what you got. So I feel like it forces you to learn a different method that you can't from a digital device. Because you can always undo and correct, but you're forced to live with what you've got. When you can't back out your pen line. And as always, I'm all about like, then I have an actual original piece. Yeah, Addie, well, see, if you're talking about Metallic Lady, see, she starts out as this, like, like she's missing her legs, her arm, she's been burned, she's been scarred, and so she can't exist outside of just being alive and breathing. So she volunteered for this procedure where they put this liquid metal over her and it kind of reforms her body and it coats her in this metallic sheen. It lets her walk, talk, jump, fight, be powerful. But of course, this is for the bad guys, so she's going to be, you know, one of the villains. But this is why she's going through this procedure, because she wants her ability to function back. So that's why she's going through this. Yeah, this is one of my creations, yes. Eli, you are an artiste? Good. Artists are welcome. Everyone's welcome here, but artists especially. Well, thanks, Adam. Yeah, enjoy the Battle Beast. That's such a great book. Your band friends love listening to you rant during break time and rehearsal about the Spectre this and Johnny Sorrow that. The Mummy from 1999. That is a great movie. Pixel Forge, what's up? How's it going? Well, thanks, Eli. Your inspiration comes from me. Well, that's very kind. Love Mystery Science Theater 3000. It's a long par 5 to the nation's capital. And see, Addie, the only one I really know is the This Island Earth parody that they did. That was the first one I've seen, and whenever I want to watch Mystery Science Theater, that's the one I go back to every time. I could probably quote that thing non-stop. It's so fun. Yeah, there's only so much time in the day. It is late. But I'm on vacation for 9 days, so I can kind of do whatever I want. Thanks, Addie. I'm looking forward to not thinking about work for several days.
Nature can go so far and experience your freedom.
Whether it's a birthday, anniversary,
Yeah, you guys are having a funny little conversation. I just figured I'd let you guys just go for it.
When you work with a Sensi for your auto loan, you'll enjoy an easy process, fast local decisioning, and 90 days with no payments. Visit the
Punks. Yes. Yeah, Addie keeps information to herself, and she should. Addie's got her head on straight. What's up, Luke? Thanks, Addie. You're always welcome here. Yeah, that's why you got to be careful on the internet. There's a lot of people asking weird stuff, and you gotta choose your times and places and locations carefully. Thanks for chatting, Eli. Or whatever your real name is. Tom Kopp. No, I mean, it's just a liquid metal thing, but it is supposed to kind of evoke the idea of the liquid metal Wetworks thing, but no, it is not from that or that specifically. But yes, it is a liquid metal kind of body coating. Luke, I've read V for Vendetta one time a long time ago. I just borrowed a copy from somebody. I enjoyed it. I was a little bit too young to kind of appreciate the message that it was trying to get across about authoritarianism and all that type of stuff. I mean, I kind of got it, but time and history and, you know, knowledge have kind of made me appreciate it even more. But I've only read it the one time. Tom, what is this from? This is just a book that I'm working on my own. This is a page in issue 2. I'm setting up all the villainous characters that will be showing up in the book, and this is showing kind of the sort of creation origin of this female character. She starts out as a, you know, no arms, no legs, horrible burn victim, can't speak, can't talk, can't move. And so she agrees to this procedure that puts this weird metallic stuff on her that reforms her body, gives her the ability to run, jump, talk, think, fight. But the trade-off is that she has to work for the bad guys, and she's kind of cool with it. You know what, Luke? I don't have a preference. I don't really care. If the story is interesting, you shouldn't necessarily care. You know, if you're, you know, writing for yourself and you're lucky enough to kind of stumble across an idea that you feel is interesting, it should be fun no matter what. If you can get like an idea across for a villain that's a really messed up concept, but you kind of interject an understanding for why the character is the way they are, or the hero about why they go on their journey and why they do what they do and where they end up. You know, best case scenario, you're kind of happy with anything that you're doing because it's all interesting. That's best case scenario. So I honestly don't have a preference, but I prefer to write stories that end with or focus on good winning over evil. I am not interested really in doing anything where it's like a nihilistic nightmare where the villains win and it's a dark dystopian nightmare from which there's no escape, and like a horror movie. I have no interest in writing stuff like that where just everyone dies and evil wins. I want to see good prevail. And this might sound really cheesy and stupid, but honestly, I think the world needs more good wins than evil wins. I like inspiring stories, things like that. But this book is also a parody, so it's just a ridiculous take. It's supposed to be funny and violent and kind of adult. And it's not kind of adult, it's very adult. You don't know if you've seen the shit that I'm putting in this thing. But it's meant to be a lighthearted romp of fun. So All-Star Superman is a great example. Yeah, I would agree. It's funny, you're the second person today to mention All-Star Superman. One of my new friends at work, this young kid, he's like some 22-year-old kid, was asking me if I've ever read All-Star Superman. And we sat around kind of talking about it for a bit. That's funny. Excuse me. Wise man, how you doing? What's going on? You like how I take my time with drawing? How I take your time drawing? Very therapeutic. Well, if I don't take the time to try to make it look good, it would just look a mess. It look like amateur hour. It already looks like amateur hour to me anyway. So it's like I gotta try and do the best I can. I know I'm not. I mean, I know I've got some limitations. I'm not getting hired by Marvel anytime soon, but I just try to do the best I can, and hopefully I have some decent enough art combined with hopefully interesting enough story and interesting enough character designs that all together, hopefully, it just kind of comes together and works as a whole. Because a person could pick apart my artwork forever, you know, and they wouldn't be wrong. But just try to do the best I can. Does the liquid metal contain minoxidil or Rogaine? Maybe a little bit of everything. But I see so many artists that do such good stuff, and I'm like, what does it take to get to that level? How can I get there? I don't know what to do beyond just keep trying and trying and trying. Yeah, and that's for sure. Artists are always our own worst critics. I agree. I get it. But I don't know. I wonder if some of my like favorite artists look at their stuff and are just as disgusted with it as I get with my own stuff. Or like most artists I know. Like, does Mark Silvestri just look at his stuff and go, what the hell am I doing? This is terrible. Or Adam Hughes or Mike Mignola or Travis Charest. Do any of them look at their stuff and go, I can't draw? You know, meanwhile, the fans are over here going, this is the greatest thing I've ever seen. You know, I know that's how I am, but every artist is like their own worst critic. That's just things that I can't do. I mean, I try, and I'm not pulling it off. Like, how do other artists do this? How do guys younger than me, you know, they're so much more better. Which is why I have to just stop thinking about it. I talk about perfection paralysis all the time. If you just sit there and just try to like, it has to be flawless, it has to be flawless, it has to be perfect, you'll never make anything, and that's the point I make, and so I have to remind myself of that often. Doesn't need to be perfect, it just needs to be made. What's up, Egg Test Tube? How's it going? Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, this is what I tell myself. Just doesn't have to be perfect. Just make it. Just go. Put pencil to paper or whatever. Brush, digital device, anything. Just make it. You'll be so much happier when it's done. Yeah, Luke, there's that too. You know, I like comics. I've been reading them since I was just a wee lad, and I'm like, well, what a great way to kind of tell your own stories. I think so many of us out here are like, we love stories and we want to tell them, but I'll never be a movie maker. I don't want to be a novelist, but I can draw, so I can tell my own stories. Wiseman, when I erase my pencils, does it leave ink smudging? Well, the important part is to make sure your ink is dry, and different tools leave ink that dries at different levels in different ways. I have struggled in the past, especially when I'm using this kind of ink, and I put it down, and I put it on thick, and then I don't pay attention to the fact that it's not dry everywhere, and then you hit it with an eraser and black streak across your page. So you kind of have to learn to like pay attention. And I for the longest time, I made a rule for myself that I would never erase pencil on a page until the next day, because I smudged too much shit on my own work. And I was just like, just stop, just wait until day 2 and then erase. But I've got some different tools now, different inks, pens and ink brushes, and they kind of dry quicker. And so in, certain times I'm not worried about it, but it's happened. You just have to let the ink dry. I have streaked many a ink glob across a page, and and every time I did it, I'm like, I know better. But I just get so excited. I want to see the page look finished, and so you're drawing it, you're getting the ink on there, but you want to see it in its purest form, so you get excitable, so you start erasing the pencil, and that's what she said. I wish. Just the tip, I promise. I would punch Liefeld in the fucking face and tell him to eat shit. I'm just kidding. But for real, if I could meet Liefeld, I'd be like, I loved your New Mutants and I loved your X-Force and Image Comics. It was a great source of joy for me as a kid, so thank you for that. And I would avoid all discussion of his current garbage. As much as I kind of joke about it and kind of want to, I would not go up to him and start fucking with him. That doesn't help anything. It doesn't make me look cool. To go up and just start some shit with him. So, I think it's cool. His current work is garbage, but I'll just leave it at that. Yeah, and if I could, I'd get some books autographed. But Liefeld charges in a fucking arm and a leg. Cheap son of a bitch. I mean, the hustle is the hustle, but, he's already a millionaire. Do you have to charge people to sign their books? I met Jim Lee once. He didn't charge anything for a signature. He just stood there and smiled and signed. You had a limit. You could only have 2 things. But signed them, Got to talk to him for about 10 seconds, and it was amazing. But Liefeld wants like $50 for a signature. Like, you go fuck yourself, my dude. That is a thing. I don't like him enough to care to get a signature, especially if it's charged. Anime is on the rise. Anime's been on the rise in in America for a while now. As I understand it, like anime, like comics, manga, just outsell American comic books by a huge factor. So yeah, it's definitely got a huge presence. Not seen Demon Slayer. The name is vaguely familiar. I don't know what it is. Artist Kaijo, hello. Yeah, Liefeld's stuff is certainly fascinating. I know who Tim Sale was, for sure. I first followed his work on Deathblow when he followed Jim Lee. Was not a huge fan, but then I got to read a lot of his later work. His Superman for All Seasons is one of my favorite comic books of all time. And I read The Long Halloween once, and I really liked it. I just haven't seen it since that one read. Luke, you've been watching my brother's Long Halloween reviews, so you're the one. You're the one guy watching them. I was talking with my brother, and he's like, The Long Halloween and then the House of M is some of his favorite comics, and so he loves reviewing them, and he's like, nobody watches them. The views are absolutely in the toilet. He just doesn't get it. Hey, say Rob, you keep impressing me with your work ethic, and your quality is there too. You should be proud of your work. Shit, I'm proud of it. Well, thank you. I appreciate it. I mean that. I really do. It's hard for me to take a compliment because I've always felt like I'm just like just terrible at everything I try. Everyone is better than me at everything. but I just keep trudging along, doing my thing, hoping that I'll kind of find my place, and I kind of have, at least, sorta. And so I appreciate that very much. I do not take a compliment like that lightly. Believe me. Art space is such a mess right now. How do I think Kirby did his crackle look? I don't know. I mean, I think for the most part, I don't know. I'm not a Kirby expert, but I don't think he inked himself very often, if at all. I don't know, but as far as I understand it, Kirby had people inking him. And so he just had to lay it down with a pencil. And I bet he laid his pencil on the side and did kind of a, kind of a side pencil kind of thing for his crackle, and then left it up for the inkers to interpret, and then they had to come up with a way to render that in the ink line. Just guess on my part. Tom Kopp, when you were in your 30s, one of my brothers was a friend that wanted to be a writer, and they were going to Orlando Comic Con. My brother told me to gather some drawings, and we would go together. Sounds like a fun adventure. What's funny is normally I would be at my local comic convention that's going on right now. I mean, not like right now, but like it's a Thursday, Friday, Saturday thing. But this is the first year in several years I just decided to not go and have a table in Artist Alley. Multiple reasons. So I'm skipping it this year. So tomorrow I'm just going as just a fan, just a guy to walk around and actually see stuff. I was hoping to be able to take my kids, but my kids are with their mom and she couldn't switch up this weekend with them, so maybe another time. Tom continues on the way there. My brother's friend and I exchanged stuff. He had something like a rehash of Star Trek and something else. Although you didn't care for it, you encouraged him. Encouraging an artist is good. I will always encourage the encouraging.
When you work with a SenseCenter for your auto loan, you'll enjoy an easy application process, plus local decisioning and 90 days with no fees. Visit the SenseCenter.
Tom continues, he kind of snubbed me about my drawings. When we arrived at the con, my brother and his friend went to the writers while you went to the artists. So Tom, do you draw? Are you artist? I mean, forgive me, I don't recognize your name, so I don't know that you've ever been on my live streams before. Oh shoot, within half an hour, the artists all said you have what it takes, and Tim Sale gave me his email to send him more recent pics. Hell yeah. That's the kind of story I like to hear. Oh, you dropped the ball and you never followed through. That's rough. Yeah, one of those things that you probably, I'm guessing, kind of beat yourself up for. That's a crazy story, Tom. But yeah, that's probably a source of probably frustration to, maybe never followed through on something that you maybe wish you did. Your friend who's almost in tears while your head was swelling with pride. I mean, hell yeah, of course. Honestly, being good enough to do this kind of work is, especially years ago, I mean, that's, you gotta have a certain special something to make it work, and not everyone has it. But at least with kind of like modern social media and stuff like that, a person can get their stuff out there and get it seen. And if you keep at it, you can definitely make a name for yourself. Luke, you out? Thanks for stopping in, man. You would have put Liefeld to shame? Well, to be fair, anybody with even like a microscopic understanding of drawing would put Liefeld to shame. Alan Frederick. This is just a comic of my own that I'm working on. Just my own kind of personal stuff. Well, thanks, Alan. It reminds me of H.R. Geiger work. Well, that's a first. That's an absolute master of the art form that I've never even approached, even close. But thank you. Alan, are you learned Loomis method to draw like this? I've never studied Loomis. I'm aware of his books. I probably should have. Everything I do is just kind of self-taught. Just drawing, practicing, drawing, trial and error. Maybe if I would have studied certain things, maybe I would have been farther along. But no, I just do this. It's all self-taught. I mean, we're all constantly learning from something, though, right? But I know I don't have the Loomis, like, anatomy books or anything like that. I've never looked through them, but I'm always looking at anatomy. I'm always trying to learn how to do it. Menno Basic, sir, what paper do you think is best for heavy load inking drawing? I'm planning on doing one. I recommend getting some Strathmore artboard, and the thicker the better. I mean, if you're going to do a lot of inking on it, just get thicker. You don't want thin stuff. You want a nice rigid paper. If you're going to do a lot of inking, the thicker the better. But Bristol board is really good stuff. There's a lot of good paper out there, though, so.
The Gravity Zone XDR platform consolidates alerts and securing information from sources such as endpoints, cloud.
Tom,
network,
shoulda, coulda,
products,
woulda.
and applications,
Nowadays, hand
or
cramps,
internet
eyesight, arm
services
pain,
using
slows you
turnkey
down.
integrations. A quick setup of Nate.
Yeah, I hear ya. I got another buddy who pops into my channel frequently, and he's kind of talking about his physical health isn't the greatest, and he's trying to make some artwork while he physically can, because there might be a time in the not too distant future where he can't, or he's not able to. So he's like, just time to start making while I can. I'm like, good for you, sir. Absolutely. Alan Frederick, your drawing is very detailed about the structures and shape. Well, I mean, I just try to do the best I can with what little knowledge I have. You know, like I said, I've got no illusions about what I can and can't do and how good I may or may not be, but just keep going, keep drawing. You probably can't hear it, Tom, but I've had music playing in the background this entire time. I've also got a little fan droning to, circulate air. But yeah, I've had music playing the entire time. I am listening to movie soundtracks right at the moment, which honestly, that's what I listen to most of the time when drawing. Movie soundtracks kind of help inspire me and actually, help generate ideas.
Life is hectic. To give me the upper hand, I take.
Spawn, how I despise them. Top 40 or techno keeps you percolating. Yeah, the music doesn't put me to sleep per se. Like, I get what you're saying, but I find that movie soundtrack stuff kind of keeps the creative energies going for me. But then I have times where I just get absolutely sick of it all, and nothing I can find actually entertains me. So then I'll put a movie on in the background and try that. That works sometimes for a little while. Evil Dead 3? What's Evil Dead 3? Like Army of Darkness? Oh, never heard of that. I've heard of Evil Dead, but like the Sam Raimi thing. Hi. Well, thanks, Tom. It's midnight where I'm at. Thanks for stopping in. Thanks for the conversations. You know, fun, awesome stories about the stuff you were doing there, and appreciate it very much. Please stop in anytime. Obviously, appreciate the conversation for sure. Jeff Teague. Do I draw or do colors for one of the big two? No, I do not. That would be awesome. But no, I'm just a guy at home doing my own thing just for myself.
When you work with Ascent-CU for your auto loan, you'll enjoy an easy application process, fast, local.
might be done with this page. Gotta clean it up. I gotta erase some pencil lines and stuff, but oh jeez. Well, I think I'm going to be done for the night. If there's anybody still hanging around, hanging around. Can't be up too late. I got things to do tomorrow. Okay, well, anybody still watching, I'm out of here for the night. Appreciate anybody who's hung around. Shows there's a couple of you watching, but that's all I got for now. So, appreciate it.
Power on.